With 8 games to go, Dean, what made you and your team decide to take this job on?
I think the main reason that I took the job on was because Craig and JT wanted to come with me as well. I looked at the squad, I looked at the fixtures, and I felt that there were games there to be won. There were points there to grab where we can actually climb out of the bottom three. I think it's probably a season that I've not seen before in the Premier League, where 9 teams have all been involved at one stage in the relegation side of the league, and I feel the more that we can keep in that as well, I feel it's certainly not insurmountable to getting out of the trouble that we're in.
And to get out of the trouble, you mentioned earlier this week rebuilding the confidence of the team, getting more belief in the squad. How have you gone about that this week?
Well, we can't get away from, I think we've lost 7 out of the last 8 games. So confidence is not going to be high. I watched the Bournemouth game and if I was 80-20 for taking the job then, I probably went down to 50-50. But I know the players, I've come across the players before and we've played against them, and we know it just needed a lift, and I felt with the 3 of us coming in, I was confident that we could give them a lift. And the first 3 days we've had with them has been, we've seen great attitudes, great quality, great enthusiasm, and we're trying to put some smiles on the faces, which is tough given the situation we're in. But I've always been a big believer that if players go out and train with a smile on the face and play with a smile on the face, they can lift their confidence very quickly.
You have experience in relegation fight with Aston Villa. I wonder, are there any comparisons you can take from that side to the Leicester side you take on now?
I think there's certainly comparisons of being in that situation before, of not setting targets, apart from the one that come the last game of the season, we want to be, not in the bottom 3, but taking it literally one game at a time and assess after each game. We did that when we was at Villa. Craig's also been through the experience here at Leicester, which was a big thing for me. I think everybody knows, his relationship with his football club. So he believed that we could do it as well. So his experience will come in really helpful as well. But me and JT were at Villa at the time as well.
Is there any comparisons as well, just looking at that team with Jack Grealish and perhaps James Maddison, around how you maximise getting the most out of them when you attack? So again, I read earlier in the week, you want to kind of transition a bit quicker in the offensive phase.
Yeah, I did wonder how quickly we'd get to this James Maddison and Jack Grealish. We looking the way we've played so far, we do need to transition a little bit quicker than we have been. James is an excellent footballer and, held his hands up last week after a mistake. But, first thing I said to him is, one, why are you coming so deep to get the ball? Number 2, why are we giving it you when you haven't got a pass on? Yes, but it is a mistake, and he will learn from that and he'll get better from that. But he is a player, I think he's second top goal scorer this season for us, who can be a big player for us, and our job is to get him into the areas of the pitch where he can hurt the opposition, and which is similar to what we did with Jack as well.
And just finally from you, Dean, when you took the job on and you spoke to the club, were there any conversations around taking the job on after this season? Is that something you want to do?
It's not a conversation we've had. I think ultimately it's an interim job, and it's 8 games, 7 weeks. Last week I was watching the Masters on Tuesday and Wednesday, and in Augusta, and now I've been back to England, very windy, but looking forward to the challenge now.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Sam. Okay, Naz.
Welcome back, Dean.
Thank you.
Going on from that, watching the Masters to preparing to face arguably one of the best teams in the world, how do you go there and impose your game on them and stop them?
Well, I've watched an awful lot of very good teams try and impose their game onto Manchester City and come unstuck. But what we have to do is go with a game plan and stick to that game plan, stay in the game for as long as we can. And we've also seen teams like Brentford go there and get results. So yes, they're one of the strongest teams, in the Premier League, if not the world. But we have to have that belief in ourselves that we can go there and get a result.
And in terms of the challenges ahead, it's been well documented, some of the defensive frailties. How important was it for you as a defender, and having John Terry in your coaching team, how much has he sort of instilled a little bit more belief in those in the defensive line and the defensive unit?
I think straight away by bringing somebody like JT, who helped, shore up shore up the defence at Aston Villa when we worked together there. I think, the first season Emi Martinez come, I think he equalled the clean sheet record at Aston Villa in the Premier League. And that's with the help of the details that JT, myself and Craig can give them. So yes, we've got, I think, 6 centre-backs here at the football club. We've got some, obviously Johnny Evans coming back from injury. Some players haven't played as many minutes as probably we would have liked so far. But we've got real good players who we can work with and are trying to work with now.
And in terms of, if you were to keep Leicester in the Premier League, where would it rank in your own sort of personal achievements? Because you've had promotions, the Villa situation, Brentford. Would this be right up there with, one of your greatest achievements, keeping Leicester in the league at this stage?
I think I will tell you that come the end of the season, if and when we've kept them up there.
And obviously, the opportunity came around. You mentioned it earlier. How is it the strangest of relegation fights with so many teams involved in it? Is it the strangest one you've sort of experienced yourself? Because we've not seen a situation like this where 7 or 8 could go down.
Yeah, I think it is as strange as it's been in the Premier League to have so many teams involved in and so few points between everyone as well. So it's a real interesting period, and the games we have after Man City will be really interesting, but we have to focus first and foremost on Manchester City and hopefully get a really good performance from the players, get a big lift and hopefully get some points.
Best of luck for the weekend and going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So now we'll go to Jason at TalkSport.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Jason.
Are you surprised by where Leicester are in the table right now?
Yes, I am. One of my first points of action, we've got a leadership group at the football club, was to speak to them. I think it was Monday evening. Have a meeting with them and just get their thoughts on why they think we are where we are, and what they think we can actually do to get out of it. We've got our ideas, and we'll put demands on both our staff and players, and give leadership, give guidance, but ultimately players make decisions on the pitch.
You obviously had some good times with Brentford and Villa, not such good times maybe with Norwich, obviously leaving them in the Championship. Speaking to maybe some of the more sceptical fans about your suitability to get Leicester out of this position, what would you say to them?
In terms of my suitability for the job, listen, I think tomorrow might be my 600th game as a manager, coming up through from Walsall in League One to Brentford in the Championship, Aston Villa, Norwich in the Premier League. So we've certainly got the experience. Craig Shakespeare alongside me, and this is why I say, as a 3, I think it's a strong 3 coming in, all with different qualities. All 3 of us have been through relegation battles in the Premier League and come through it. So I think that experience will certainly hold us in good stead.
There's been a perception, certainly over the last few weeks, when Brendan was speaking about performances and results and even players as well, that things will be fine if we keep doing what we're doing at the football club. Now, you've addressed some of the issues that players maybe have spoken about. Do you sense any complacency here amongst the players at the club about where you are in the table and how to get out of it?
No, from the first day I came in, from the first time I spoke to the players on the evening, or the leadership group on the evening, to the moment we've come in, been really, really impressed with the enthusiasm, the attitude, really impressed with the quality as well. Unfortunately, we've got A couple of players missing at the moment, in some key areas. Harvey Barnes, which, got injured in the last game, will be out for certainly on Saturday, hopefully touch and go for next Saturday. But, the quality that they've shown has really impressed all of us, to be honest. So we've been happy with what we've seen so far, and we feel there's enough there.
A final one from me. We know how good Yuri Tielemans can be on his day, the quality shown at this club since joining a few years ago. Firstly, is he fit for this weekend? Is he going to be fit in the foreseeable future? And what kind of role can he have over the coming weeks?
He's available for selection. He hasn't done a lot of minutes in training, so we'll have to assess whether he's ready to start or to come on as sub. But he's a big part. I look at the likes of him, the likes of Johnny, and I think they give the team calmness. They give them experience, but they give them quality as well. So they're going to be very important.
Thanks, very best of luck this week.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, Jason. We'll go to Owen from Radio Leicester.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, you okay?
Nice to meet you. I know you mentioned Harvey Barnes and Yuri there. Have you got any other fresh concerns ahead of the game this weekend?
Yeah, Ricky felt his hamstring after the game last week as well. His looks a little bit worse than Harvey's, so I think he's going to be out for a few weeks, whereas Harvey's in an area of the hamstring that you're a little bit less concerned about. Which takes away a little bit of our wider options, to be honest.
You've had your first few days at the club now. What's it been like coming into this kind of environment and being in and around the club on a personal level for you?
Oh, listen, you can't help but be excited when you see this training centre. Fantastic facilities here, fantastic training ground, and you can see the ambitions are elite level. If you get John Terry saying, "Oh wow," then you're doing something right. I've done well to get him off the golf course, but then we turn up and there's a golf course here, so he'll probably have his clubs in the back now. But it's a great club. We've seen what this club can do and have done over years. What I've experienced so far, just meeting, the staff, the owners, has been really refreshing. Real humility I've seen amongst everybody, but a real need to help us and be there for us if we need them, because at the end of the day, we want to be a success together, and the only way we can is by working together.
You said that this isn't an insurmountable challenge and that Leicester City do have the qualities to stay in the Premier League. I wonder, from coming in and seeing inside the walls rather from outside of it, what the key aspects you've seen that show that is the case?
Well, I think just looking back to the Bournemouth game, what I saw on the pitch was players without confidence and players who looked a little bit lethargic. And to get that out of them, we've tried to make, training a little bit more fun, but a little bit more intense, a little bit more, frantic. And we've done that, and I feel we've had a response. Yesterday was more of a tactical day. Today will be a tactical day as well. But the buy-in from the players has been good so far. So, hopefully, we can continue that. Because, as I said before, time is not our friend at the moment. 8 games, 7 weeks.
As first games go, it's quite a task heading to the Etihad Stadium. What do you want to see from your players in terms of the core principles that make up a Dean Smith side?
Focus, concentration, energy levels, commitment, everything that you would like to see. Connectivity between the players and throughout the team. As we said when we came in here, it's a clean slate for everyone. We're fresh eyes on the players. And we've liked what we've seen so far. But, come tomorrow, we're playing against one of the best, and we have to have all them components to go and get a result.
Dean, thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Owen. We'll take one from Colin to end this section for BBC Midlands.
I'm Colin from BBC East Midlands. Nice to meet you. It just strikes me that with just over 20% of the season left, a lot of your talk is about energy and commitment and things like that. Is that the thing you've got time to change in this short space of time?
I don't think we've got time to change fitness, but certainly energy levels, yeah. Because mentally it's tough when you're in a run like we've been in. What we can bring is freshness, some new ideas, a little bit of clarity for them. Get the basics right, and if we do that, yeah, then I do believe we can get there. Yes.